Hey everybody, before we get started, just remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Agio Comics, Blacklist OG, Carlos, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Sodasan, 0424, Cytron23, and Video Gamer 75. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody. Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Talk FGO Wanted, the show where we let you know if you want to roll a servant who has a non-zero number of stars. That's right, there will never be a Wanted Angra, unless they do something special with them. Hi. Okay, so the reason why the intro is weird is because if this is your first Wanted, which it might be, you never know, this one might be sticky, the way we pitch doing Wanted and what we normally do on Wanted is I review 5 stars, usually limiteds, but we'll do permanents if they're, brand new. We didn't start doing this show when FGO came out, obviously. So we'll pick up some stuff, do some things. But there are actually a small handful of limited units who are 4 and 3 stars, which start coming out. So we decided to kick off the 3 stars with Okada Izou, because he is super popular. And I should probably make sure to put some extra English on that Izou, because it's a long O. But anyway. So, this will be about a limited 3-star, not a 5-star, not even a 4-star, which is good, because the Fujino video didn't do very good, all things considered. Very middling, very low to middling, guys. But hopefully, Izou is super popular and you're searching for him. You probably will be, because, spoilers, I don't think there's a super lot of information out there about him in English. But we'll try. So, again, to review for the people who maybe haven't watched a Wanted in a while, or this is your first time, Wanted, we generally break it down into 4 segments about the servant in question, who you're going to roll for, if you're going to roll for them. First, we will talk about their real-life history, whether that's their folklore or their actual history if they were a person, like Izou. We will talk about their fate lore, with a capital L, what they've been in, other weird fate quirks, that sort of thing. Then we talk about their mechanics, and we'll talk about their rarity. Not their star rarity, though that is actually slightly numerous, possible. It doesn't actually matter. We're going to talk about how frequently their rate ups are, because that's another really key thing in deciding when you want to roll for a servant, right? Is how often do they come on a rate up. So that's what we're doing. We're going to do Okada Izou, limited 3-star assassin, and we're going to start right now. Because actually in the real life history, there's not a lot of talk and not a lot of research about this guy in English. Firing up the old quick Googling. 90% of the first page and second page responses I got were all about him in FGO. He has way more reach out here in English because of FGO than anything else. When we talk a little bit about some of the tail end, there'll be some reason for why I think he showed up in other things, but we'll get there. But the first important thing is that, yes, Okada Izou is a real person. He was born in 1838 and lived until 1865, and was a big deal in the Bakumatsu period, and he is literally a famous assassin. Not like, oh, he's an executioner, oh, he, accidentally assassinated someone once. He is renowned as one of the 4 notable assassins of the period. I don't know who the other ones are, that's not referenced in any of the documentation I found. It's probably more well-known in Japanese, but here we are. So, and he was actually of the samurai class, though I believe it was low, but he was in some active work in the Bakumatsu period under some of the people in the Tosa province, a well-known assassin active in Kyoto. Responsible for several high-profile assassinations and killings before he was captured and killed by the government, but still actually got some stuff out there and was fairly famous in the time period. Now, I think the reason why in Fate he's a big deal because he was a little bit famous, and that period is very, very important to Japan. There have been a few works which have come out about him. There is a famous film in the late 60s called Hitokiri, which is about those 4 famous manslayers, including Izou. There's actually a film about him called Izou. There's a TV drama which is about figures like Sakamoto Ryoma, who is from a similar time period, but Izou appears, stuff like that. Also been heavily influenced in some major anime and manga works. There's a character there's characters influenced by him in big works like Rurouni Kenshin, Gintama, Saint Seiya, etc., video games and stuff, before his appearance in Fate. So let's pivot there to Fate works. What's Okada Izou's story in Fate? Well, he is actually a long-standing assassin character in Fate Koha Ace. So he's been in the background of the Koha Ace Guda Guda type story for a long time. Associated with the Imperial Capital Holy Grail and stuff, which is what Guda Guda 3 is based on, so it makes sense that he would show up. Little annoyed he's limited, but I guess he is kind of a special unit guy. But yeah, he's a major character in there. That means he's also appearing in the Type Redline manga, which is coming out right now, because that's also that Holy Grail War, so that's a more serious take adaptation. But got a long-running stand as one of the characters from the Guda Guda collection, coming out and being in that kind of general group oeuvre, as it were. So there is some seriousness to him, but there's also some jokes, because he's originally from a gag comic series. Some fun stuff. I'm not really sure where I think they pitched onto the thing. Maybe it's because of Ryoma? I don't know. But he's there, he does stuff, and obviously he will be one of the characters who show up in the Guda Guda 3 event because of reasons. Though, I don't know, I believe we might see some references to him at other points. Not sure, though. But yeah, he exists. He's fun. Let's go ahead and not waste too much time about the thing, and go ahead and talk about those sweet, sweet mechanisms. So, this is going to be a little interesting to put into context, because normally we're talking about 5 stars, maybe 4 stars, different gaps and stuff in the relationship. But now we're going to talk about a 3-star, so we got to kind of put that in context of other stuff. Well, in terms of 3-star attack, Okada Izou is pretty high. Only Fumikotaro and Jinkei outpace him, and he has the exact same HP as Fumikotaro, which is slightly more than Jinkei. So, does pretty good in that respect. Let me actually check. Where does that stack up? That's about middling of the HP field. So, it's pretty interesting. The thing with attack you need to remember is that assassins have a 0.9 class multiplier, so that can be a little annoying. They are very softball hitty. And unfortunately for Izou, while I will say later, he does have some very simple but effective mechanics, a lot of fun stuff we'll talk about as we work down the line. He is a single target 3-star assassin. There's a boatload of those guys, and it's really about personal preference. But he does some different things that other assassins might not be hitting into yet. He's, as you can see, quick arts buster with a arts NP. So, in terms of those, you're only really looking at for single target stuff. In the 3 stars, there's actually, it's a good question. Is 100 Personas AoE, or I can't remember. It hasn't been a second since I used them. Yeah, it's single, okay. Right, if they're AoE, I'd use them all the time. Duh. So in terms of 3 stars, it's really just Serenity and 100 Personas. So, while they are free to play, they do slightly different things with their setup than what Izou is about. And obviously, so you can see some of the other stuff here. Low cost, like a lot of 3 stars. Assassins have middling star absorption. Very, very high star generation. Because he's got low hit counts on his 2 arts cards, his NP gain is very high, but that does mean on those quick cards you'll be gaining a lot of NP, and other pretty standard stuff. Note also, big extra hits. That's pretty common, but it can be very good. His Noble Phantasm is pretty basic for these type of guys. It's, a single target. Ooh, I'm going to do a spooky sword thing. It's very basic. It does significant damage to a single enemy, so it's single target arts. That's pretty good in terms of damage output. It increases your critical star drop rate for 3 turns by 100% minimum at OC, so it doubles your star gen. He already has really good star gen. It's got 4 hits. That's a pretty decent effect overall, I think. Not very flashy, but it does what you want Izou to do, basically. Right? You will generate lots of stars in your future turns, and it will do some damage and charge some stuff. Skills, pretty simple. No buffs to Izou as far as I know. He's a pretty plain and simple unit. Very effective at what he does. So his first skill is Actual Honest-to-Gosh Assassination A. I know, crazy, right? Yes, he actually has skills in Assassin. It gives you special attack bonus Humanoid for 1 turn, 50 to 100%. So that's up to double damage versus humanoid targets, which is all servants, except Summer BB, because tentacles. And also increases your critical strength for 1 turn, 20 to 30%. So 20 to 30% is not very impressive, but against servants, you're looking at a big 50 to 100% damage buff. That's really going to erase the fact that 3-star stats and level cap and assassin attack multipliers. You're going to hit pretty big. And this is actually better than, say, early units like Sanson, who has a human bonus, which only applies to a very rare number of servants who are still alive and mostly mobs. Izou is humanoid, that means servants are valid. This kind of defines, I think, his big niche here, which is just, he does big bonus damage to servants. You probably want to do this on like an NPQQ or NPAA, whatever, and do crit turn. At First Ascension, he has the very standard Mind's Eye Fake. So he gets 1 turn of evade, and he gets increased critical strength for 3 turns. 16 to 32%, the numbers are a little awkward, but it's not awful. And it lasts 3 turns, as opposed to the 20 to 30% for 1 turn you get an assassination. So the buff will last a little while when you have to evade, so you can combo that up really good to get some very strong crits in. And then the last one is, I believe this might be a quote attributed to him or something, but it's 1 with the sword, as swift and nimble as a falcon, A. This is a decent star rate gather buff. Assassins are in the middle, 500% is pretty decent. The big thing here is, note those cooldowns. Starts at 5, goes as low as 3. So every 3 turns he can buff his star rate, which is good. None of the rest of his skills are that short, but it can definitely work when you get a big, depending on your timing, that means when you get a big star gen turn, you can be like, oh, Izou's got some arts cards, I'm going to buff his weight so he can do some arts crits so he can NP again. Or even, oh, this is the 1 turn Izou's Buster card showed up, I want to make sure to crit on that kind of stuff. It's very simple, and it's, compared to a lot of, non-standard crit hitters, because I believe, I should double-check this, but Riders are the highest crit weight. Bleh. They have the best star weight. Berserkers are really, really bad. I believe Casters are middling. I think Sabers are another middle of the road. Yeah, let's take some examples. Yeah, so Riders are about 200. Sabers are about 100. Casters are about 50, so not Casters. You can already outpace them. I'm gonna guess, is it Lancer and Archer who are, 150? Let me just double-check real quick. I know. I should memorize these, but I don't always. So, yeah, Archer is about 150. Lancers are also about 100. Okay. So, yeah, what I'm getting at is that units like Saber, Lancer, and Assassin, they fall into this middle ground. They aren't as good as Archers or Riders, and they have a lot of competition with other classes. There are quite a lot of extra classes who also have around 100-ish. So the fact that you can reliably star weight buff yourself pretty decently, you will definitely exceed all those guys. And I think at 500% times 5, you will exceed most Riders even. It's not as crazy though as Berserkers, who have the absolute lowest star weight, tend to get really, really big, 10x star weight buffs or more, to really get up there. But it's fairly decent. For passive skills, he just has a singular, humble, Presence Concealment B, a robust selection. And in case you forgot what Presence Concealment does, that's the one where you increase your star drop rate by 8%, specifically at B. So, he always has a little bit extra star gen. His star gen is already really good. Those quick hit cards, like we said, have very good hit counts. And he has a very strong extra, so something like AQQ will still get you a lot of stars and get you some NP. All in all package, again, I said this about Okada Izou. That one that's already shot and should have gone out before this one. This is the extra special one that nobody knows for sure that I'm making, except they totally do. Izou is also not super flashy. He's just, hey, trait damage, more star drop, more crit strength, with a very speedy weight bonus. But for a 3-star assassin, it's very focused. He does what you want an assassin to do. He will generate stars, he can turn those into crits, he can turn those crits into very big swings against certain enemies. You facing a Rider boss, Izou will do you good for damage. Heck, you can even, because of trait damage and bonuses, you can swing this against Berserkers too. So for team synergy, so I'd say for CEs, anything that improves arts performance or crit performance. Those, I think, are going to be the key things you're going to want to do. You're going to want to make him crit bigger, and you're going to want to make his arts pop bigger, so that A, his NP hits harder, and B, he generates more stars, because you'll notice he has no batteries whatsoever. That'll come into when we talk about unit support for, who meshes with him. So, that is a thing to consider, but that's primarily the CEs you're going to want. Something like, is it Another Side, Another Story? It's Another Side. It's the Hakunon CE. the arts crit one. That's a good one if you've got it. In general ones, because he has no batteries, you can do starting NP to combo him with some support servants, which we'll talk about in a second. But otherwise, I would say focus on just doubling down what he's good at. Arts crit. If you crit with arts, you'll get all the NP gain you need and more. And because he's limited, I would say to be careful. One advantage usually of 3 stars is you can get their NP multipliers really high. With Izou, you have limited opportunities to do that. So watch his skill performance should make up for any lack if you like run out of Saint Quartz at like NP3 or something, or you only get it at NP1 and you have to stop because you want to save your quartz for something else. I don't know your life. But you should still be able to get some decent performance out of it. Now, in terms of support servants, I think the focus here is primarily support casters, obviously because they have lower star weight and they mesh depending. You gotta be careful though because he's an assassin. That usually means you're taking on riders. Your casters can get bullied pretty hard. Tombo is of course the obvious one. You know, she's got heals. She's got art bonuses. She actually reduces his skill cooldown, which he really likes. She will mesh very well with this guy and help him fire off those arts crits even faster, even more arts, even more NPs to get his buffs stacked. And then on top of that, later she's going to get an NP damage boost, which will help compensate for maybe those lower stats. Assuming you're not grailing this guy to 100. I don't know. But he is a popular grail target. Very popular. You will probably see him get a fairly decent performance boost, at least to catch up to 4 and 5 stars that way. The other thing is, of course, everybody's favorite generic support caster, Waver. Waver can get this guy up to 50% battery, so you can, if you need him to NP right away on a boss or something, you can do that trick. That also increases his damage, increases his defensive abilities, because he only has the one hard defense, and it's evade. So the damage cut can help, and then it gives him damage pluses, and that, again, big crit bonus. So that will move him forward. Merlin and Scotty can be made to work for reasons, but are not ideal. You'll want to probably focus on that arts NP, big pop, or focus down on crits or generic pops. This does mean that for mixed nodes and stuff, Saber Bride, Nero Bride specifically, can be very good, because she has targetable buffs that really help these guys out and gets future buffs to be even better. And in general, units that mesh well with arts and support. He does only have 2 arts cards, but with the quicks and the hit counts, he plays really well with arts teams, you know? Sticking with somebody like Jean, who will generate stars, and then, you know, do big blocks for the team, can totally work. Just make sure you're constantly doing arts chains to charge NP, that kind of stuff. He fits in well. He plays well with others, oddly enough. So, that's all the mechanics out of the way. Now the question is, how rare is Izou? Well, good news, bad news, kids. He does have some alternate showings, but primarily you're going to look at, he's going to be on this banner, the upcoming Gudu Gudu 3, Imperial Capital Holy Grail. And he will obviously be on the rerun for that, so that's a big deal. Those are the primary ones. He will not be associated with Gudu Gudu 4, Final Honoji, because that has its own limited 3-star, who we will talk about next year. So, you're not going to get a pass, unlike, say, I think I mentioned the Okada Alter video. She'll come back into rotation unlike the Gudu Gudu 4 rerun, right? However, he is featured in some of the Kilmaf exhibit campaigns, which means that we can probably expect him to pop in at, say, New Year's or Thanksgiving over here stateside. So keep that in mind. You can get a couple of those extra little bonusy ones, which can be helpful, and give you some opportunity to get some rolls, though those will obviously be pretty packed. He's not exiled just to Gudu Gudu 3 and its rerun. You know, this isn't like, I'm pretty sure this is the fate that, unfortunately, this is the fate that a lot of summers have. Like, when a summer gets a raid up not on a summer rerun is very rare. It's kind of the same diff with, like, say, Passion Lib is exiled too, where it's just her event, her rerun, and then, if you're lucky, a bonus download campaign. So if you really want Izou, he's pretty focused, you know? He's fun, he's good, he'll do some work, but also he's not necessarily 100% unique, you know? But you will have a couple of chances to roll for him if you're interested. Alright, that has been Wanted, Okada Izou. I hope you guys are happy, I hope this video does good. Be sure to like it if you're watching it on YouTube and you liked it, to encourage me to do more 3 and 4 star Wanteds. and we'll, talk more about these units in Let's Talk, which I'm sure will be coming up soon. Be sure to check out, by the way, a recent Let's Talk video about our Gudu Gudu 3 pregame if you need to catch up on what's the dealio with the event. And I'll see you in the next Wanted. Oh boy, that'll be soon. That'll probably be Napoleon. It won't be too far away from this one. I don't think there should be anything interrupting. Okay. All right. I'll let you guys go. Don't forget the like thing, like I said. You can leave any comments you have in the comment section down below. I know you guys like to talk about your roll luck or just, talk about how things went. Wanted is a confirmed catalyst. Leave it in the comment section down below. You can also hit up our Discord. That link is, as always, in our description of the video and on our channel page. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you're new here and haven't already, to make sure you always get our latest videos, like Wanted, like our podcast, Let's Talk FGO. Comes out about FGO every week. Almost 3 years now, guys. Been going strong since the game launched. And, yeah, that's a good one. Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video, because, I gotta be honest, I'm actually filming this one ahead of time, so I don't know exactly when it's gonna get posted. They might throw out an announcement, and I post it, like, midnight some night, just because sometimes Aniplex likes to fuck with me. So, turn on those notifications, you can always know when we post a new video and when we stream. And, of course, like I said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You could have gotten access to this video early, lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Alright, I'm gonna let you guys go. Have fun rolling for that dog man.